Miami Heat, what is it, a 6-game win streak now? After starting the season off pretty slow, the Miami Heat are now 7-4. They look really good. Bam Adebayo looks like the best player on the team currently, which is, I feel like, something that we've been waiting to happen for quite a long time. Bam has put this team on his back in a way. Obviously, Jimmy Butler's still great. Tyler Hero, a good player, but Bam averaging 23, 10.5, and 3.8 points per game so far this year on 52.5% shooting. This is the best Bam Adebayo we've seen so far. The best version of him that we've seen, and it's quite obvious. I mean, granted, I will say that the Miami Heat currently have a negative 0.1 net rating, which is a bit of a problem. But all in all, they are currently the 9th best defensive team in the NBA. And as I said, Bam is doing his thing on the offensive side of the ball right now. What are our thoughts on the Miami Heat and their hot start?
So it's kind of what we said about the Heat before the season. I know I was pretty low on the Heat. I believe you two were about just as low on the Heat.
I said they were the 7.
Yeah, around there. But they just find a way to get production out of guys who don't belong, giving them this production. So Jaime Jaquez has looked really good, like a really good draft pick. His last 4 games, he's had 17, 11, 20, and 11. 11's not crazy, but like you didn't even really expect this guy to be in the rotation yet. I mean, Haywood Highsmith is, I believe, starting at power forward for them right now, and he's been really good for them. And it's just like on different teams, those guys probably don't play this well. Yeah. But there is a concern. Tyler Hero is going to miss a couple weeks with an ankle sprain. So they could cool down a bit. But yeah, as you said, Bam Adebayo has taken this offensive leap that we've been waiting for him to take. And I mean, if he can sustain that, then Jimmy Butler can coast for the regular season once again. They're not a team you want to see in the first round of the playoffs yet again. And if Hero can get healthy, he'll get healthy at some point. But because he's been playing really well too.
Yeah, he's missed. What has he missed? The last couple games, right?
Yeah. So is it sustainable? It's so hard because you look at this Heat roster and you're like, yeah, it still doesn't look great, but they find a way to get things done. So I guess it is sustainable. Like I said, if Bam can play at this level, sure, why not? Why not them?
Yeah, Jimmy Butler, man, his last few games have been pretty damn solid as well. I mean, he's playing the most efficient basketball of his career in terms of three-point shooting, which is kind of crazy. 50% from 3 for Jimmy Butler so far this year. But on how many attempts? That's my question. I haven't watched much of the Miami Heat, to be entirely honest. I haven't really watched much Miami Heat basketball. So for them to be on the win streak that they are recently, I mean, props to them. Chris, what are your thoughts on Miami so far? How do you feel about them?
I mean, the Heat just keep finding a way. You know, Jimmy Butler's been okay so far this year. I mean, over their 6-game win streak, he's averaging 22.8. Like, he's been all right. You know, he's had some good games. He's had some bad games. But it's Bam Adebayo who looks like he's taken another leap. And I don't want to get ahead of myself yet because Bam Adebayo always shows us things and then kind of takes a little setback and then shows us those things again. It's just a little bit inconsistent. But over the 6-game win streak, I mean, 23.5 points, 12.2 rebounds, 4.7 assists. And I mean, that's been the biggest improvement so far this year for me. You know, looking at Bam, and the assist numbers don't jump out the page. Like 4.7 is good.
Yeah.
For a center, it's really solid. But his playmaking is just so much deeper than his assist numbers. Yeah. Just his ability to, you know, be a hub in terms of the dribble handoff game and bolster up some guys around him. I mean, you look at the 6-game win streak. You mentioned Tommy Hawkes has been great for them. Duncan Robinson's been exceptional for them.
He's changed his game completely.
16 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists for Duncan Robinson.
I mean, you know, you even have Haywood Highsmith who's given them some good minutes. Kyle Lowry over the past 6 has been really good for them. And we know what the Heat are going to do. They're going to be gritty on the defensive end. They're going to really get after you. On the offensive end, they're going to take their time. It's going to be a slow pace. A lot of things are going to go through Bam and Jimmy, and then the other guys are just going to, you know, get up some threes. Some nights they'll make them, some nights they won't, and they'll live and die like that. But I think Bam is just showing right now that there's another level he could get to in terms of his offensive load. Pause. Because, what was Bam last year? I'm not even going to look it up off the top of my head. I'll just say in terms of points and assists, I'll say it was like 19.8 points and 3.2 assists.
I think he was averaging over 20, but I'll double check.
Yeah, double check it.
He averaged 20.4, 9 rebounds, 3 assists.
So, yeah, about 3 assists and about 19, 20 points. There's a big difference between 20 points and 3 assists and 24. We'll round up for him because it's at 0.5, basic laws of rounding.
Over his last 6.
25 and 5.
Yeah.
24 and 5, my apologies.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between 24 and 5 and 20 and 3. That's 10 points potentially that's on the board.
Yeah.
So Bam showing there's another level he could reach in terms of the load he could carry offensively. And I think that's only going to help this Heat team, especially in terms of regular season games where, we know Jimmy Butler likes to take games off and, not always put his best effort out there during the regular season. So Bam showing he can handle this load is only going to help the Heat team and, lead them to potentially getting a higher seed in the playoffs than we all thought.
And when Hero gets healthy, he was having a phenomenal season.
They're going to get Caleb Martin back, too, at some point. He hasn't even played this season.
Yeah.
Nah, he played.
He played the
one
first game,
and
and he got hurt. I don't know what his timeline is, but he's going to come back at some point.
I also think a pretty decently underrated addition is Josh Richardson back on this team, too. I mean, that was a solid move. Haywood Highsmith's been great for them. As we said, Duncan Robinson, just unbelievable, averaging 16 in his last 6. 4 and 4, which is stuff that you don't expect out of Duncan Robinson.
He just it's the numbers and it's the way he plays. Like he's getting to the basket. He's handling the ball much, but he's not just a spot up shooter anymore. And that opens up so much for you from a team that lacks so much shot creation.
And he draws so much attention.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that he can get hot in a split
second.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's huge for them. Not to mention, like, as you said, Jimmy takes games off, bro. You need these other guys.
Yeah.
You need these other guys to play their ass off, and hopefully Tyler Hero gets healthy. Him being that number, you could argue a lot of nights the number 1 shot creator for this team. That's huge for them. Shooting 45 from the field, 41 from 3, like that's huge for them. So
yeah, I think we as a collective on this podcast underrated Tyler Hero a little bit.
Yes.
And not just Tyler Hero the player, but underrated Tyler Hero's importance to this team. Because our thing with the Heat all offseason was they lost this, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, and they didn't replace it. And we, I think as a collective, failed to mention the fact that they're just plugging Tyler Hero back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who makes up for a lot of what you lost in Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent, probably produces even more than those guys. And then, like we said, you have these other role players coming out of the woodworks, Jaime Jaquez, Haywood Highsmith, who could fill voids. Tyler Hero helps this team a lot, especially in terms of shot creation. Like, that was the one problem with the Miami Heat. Even last year when they made her under the finals, that they lacked shot creation. And Tyler Hero is only going to help you with that. He's another guy who could play in the dribble handoff game with Bam very effectively. We've seen that. So I think this Heat team is better than we thought once again.
Yeah.
I don't know how they keep doing it, how they keep fooling us. I don't obviously they're on a 6-game win streak. So do I think this is sustainable? No, they're going to lose another game for the rest of the season. But I think in terms of their playoff outlook, I know I tried to be a bold prediction guy and have them out of the playoffs.
Me too.
But they'll probably get in. And I think what they've shown us during the 6-game winning streak helps me believe in their playoff outlook more, because we know what Jimmy's going to do. For the most part, we know what Bam's going to do, but if he's playing at this level, it changes things. And if Tyler Hero is playing at the level he's been playing at this season, and the role players keep playing at the level they've played on during the six-game streak, there's no reason this team can't make another run at the finals or conference finals.
I agree. Yeah. Damn. They are
Sleazy might argue
out.
that there's one big green reason, but I just know he's going to say something, so I wanted to throw that out there. But
they're bro, they're a tough out. They always are. They always are. When you have that guy coaching you, when you have Jimmy who turns up in the playoffs like he does, not to mention if you do have a healthy Tyler Hero and a Bam Adebayo who's playing the best basketball of his career, bro, I don't want to mess with the Miami Heat.
No.
I do not want to mess with the Miami Heat at that point. But yeah, about time we give them some due respect.